Planet 101 FM. Go.
Fantastic day to be back on the frequency Planet Radio 101.1 FM. Today is the 21st day of September 2022, and we're still counting down to the 35th anniversary of Akwa Ibom State. But we're back to talk about the big breaking and trending stories all across the all exciting world of football this particular afternoon. Yes, we're still counting down to the friendly against Algeria, where the Super Eagles of Nigeria will battle it out with the Desert Foxes later on 27th of September. Algeria. We'll talk about the players in camp, and they had a training session yesterday. We'll take a look at the reports from the training session and how Pesero wants his players to play. Away from that, we'll talk about the players expected to start the game against Algeria and the performance you're expecting to see in that particular game and all of that. We'll also take a look at some interesting stories from the home front. The story is that Victor Osimhen is set to return any moment from next month for Napoli as they continue their chase for the Italian Serie A. We'll talk about stories from transfers this morning, where there's a story that Chelsea had a chance to sign Real Madrid or Tchouaméni, but the Marina Granovskaya decided to go for Saul Niguez. We'll also take a look at the situation of Chelsea's key midfielders, N'Golo Kante and Jorginho. Both contracts are set to expire next season. So as a Chelsea fan, and if you were close to Todd Boehly, we do extend the contracts of Jorginho and N'Golo Kante. We also talk about some interesting speculations, transfer speculations this morning. We'll take a look at the UEFA Nations League. What's on the line as the Nations League continues later today? Do you know the story behind why Griezmann has been playing 30 minutes per game for Atletico Madrid? We'll tell you that and so much more on the show today. Welcome to the Convent of Football Fans. It's live and exclusive to Planet Radio 101.1 FM. We do this every day, Monday to Friday, 3 p.m. or through to 4 p.m. Welcome to today's edition of the show. My name is Arizona. To be back on the show today, I've got Solorex for company and High Chief Blyden to join in a moment or two from now. 09022231011 and 0817-624-8565 would give you the chance to be a part of the show. Alternatively, you can head to Facebook, verified Facebook handle Planet Radio 101.1 feed, and we'll take them in the course of the show. You can also head to our sports page, the Planet Radio 101.1 FM sports page, and there's a post published there. Make sure you drop a comment and I'll take them in the course of the show. Once again, welcome to the bumpy ride. National had its training yesterday, and the story is that 22 players have arrived in camp ahead of ahead of the friendly game. Just 2 players are expected to arrive later. That's Francis Uzo and Ebubeduro. But the list has been bubbling, and right now, Rafael Onyedika, Moses Simon, Taiwa Woniyi, Chidera Educate, Cyril Dessert, Sarah Murphy, Lookman, Adebayo Deleye, Xavier Godwin, Henacho, and Uzo and Dura expected to be in camp at least before the end of today. Right, so from the training session that the boys had yesterday, the story from there is that Coach Jose Pesero has been drilling the boys on playing possession-based football. The senior national team had the training, and the story is that Coach Pesero drilled them on playing possession-based football, playing in tight corners, keeping the ball under press. He made it known to them that he wants the team to be defensive, by way of keeping the ball and punishing the opponents in the other half. There was also reports that Terry Murphy looked very deadly with his movements and his finishing. He was very much the liveliest player during the training session. Well, Solorex, beginning the conversation right now, you look at the current crop of players we have in the national team and Pesero opting for a possession-based style of football. You think this would be compatible with the quality we have in our side?
It's very possible. It's a possible reality, possible thing as it stands. The only person, looking at that national team that can keep, possession has to be Alexi Iwobi, Blinder's friend. He just walked in. He's a big fan
the High Chief himself.
Yeah, he's a big fan of Alexi Iwobi as well. So Iwobi can keep the ball. Wilfred Ndidi, those are quality players who are played for, Kelechi Iheanacho as well, the C group of his friends as well. So I think it's a welcome development, from Jose Pizarro, but you can't just get it in a friendly game. It needs to be more often, games, season in training session in, training session out. You need to gather the boys, tell them what you want them to do with the ball anytime they get, anytime they're with the ball to get the perfect balance, keep the ball. That is what Nigeria have been struggling in the recent game. Talking of the just concluded AFCON, we really struggle to keep the ball anytime we meet tougher opponents. So that's a welcome development. We need to keep the ball, and it's a nice one from Jose Pizarro.
All right, Blyden, unfortunately I can't see you, but I know you can hear me. Right, so, one thing we've been asking for, basically, from a national team coach has been a national football philosophy, a playing style, a playing identity that would have, for the national team. And then Pesero here, according to the training reports from yesterday, that the team, he's trying to drill the team to play a possession-based football. Like, you look at the quality of players we have in the team, you think this will work?
Well, Nigeria is a big side in Africa. When it has to do with football, we can play quite well. Good performance it would be from the lads in recent times. When it has to do with possession, you go back in history, you realize in 1994, Nigeria was known for keeping the possession. And it's something that's deeply rooted in us, especially when we have a good number 10 to aid us do that. But for me, Marizona, the biggest problem isn't about keeping those positions. For me, it's about keeping positions to what end. And I look at the qualities we've had on the side. There are quality players like Kelechi Iheanacho, Alexi Iwobi. I'm talking about strikers too, the likes of Sadiq coming up, though he's injured for this game. Talking about Victor Osimhen too. But my biggest fear has always been where we have the greatest deficiency. The greatest deficiency in the national team has been the defensive midfield. Why? Because if there's no Wilfred Ndidi, the gap is so big. No one can replace Wilfred Ndidi. And over the years, it's beginning to become a big concern for the Super Eagles. And that is my biggest concern for the Super Eagles.
Right,
the coach is not to find a way to solve that.
Yeah, Solorex, talking about in the absence of Wilfred Ndidi, Frank Onyeka had a few game time. Innocent Bonke has not been called up to this particular squad. Also had some game time to his name. But both of them were not as impressive as they should be. Now, moving forward, because we cannot guarantee Ndidi's consistency, in the next 4 or 5 years, maybe the idea is where he's going to get injured. So, do we really have, somebody that would come in and fill his shoes and we don't miss his absence?
I think the best way to get, a possible replacement for Ndidi, has to be trying other lads as well. We have quality players in the team. You made mention of Innocent Bonke, although he has not been called to the national team as well. I think that's another area we need to, put into consideration as well. Nigeria struggle, in the AFCON when Ndidi wasn't there.
The World Cup.
Yeah, the World Cup
qualifiers. Yeah.
Pardon. We were just struggling. So I think Innocent Bonke will be a perfect replacement. Why? If he's being given the privilege.
Innocent Bonke had his time with at the AFCON.
Yeah.
I think so. At the World Cup qualifiers rather. But his performance was totally below par.
Yeah, Mario, you can't judge these players by one game. You need to give them more game time. There are players that will just sparkle in their first game. To clearly bring results to the team, but other players need more game time, like 5, 6, 10, even 15, to make their mark as well. So I think, Sembonki, the experience is there. He has played in the UEFA Champions League, played in the UEFA, Europa League as well. So he's a fantastic guy. So I think he will be the perfect replacement for Wilfred Ndidi if he's been given the, chance to show himself as well.
All right, too. From the reports of the training we had yesterday, there was a drill, particular drill that included the back four of Ola Aino, Zeru Sadus, Kevin Akpoguma, and Calvin Bassi. Regular centre backs Kenneth Omero and William Trosicon did not train with the quartet. And Blyden, most people say that more like a confirmation of what should be expected on the 27th of September. It will be an Ola Aino, Zeru Sadus, Kevin Akpoguma, and Calvin Bassi back four.
Well, typically, it wouldn't be a bad back four. For me, it's a friendly match.
No Kenneth Omero, no William Trosticon. Starting.
Anybody can step in as far as I'm concerned. It doesn't matter. What matters for me, Marison, I almost tried to call you Brian.
Yeah, you did it yesterday.
I did it yesterday.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware. Okay.
Yeah.
What matters to me is basically about playing well and getting a good result. In fact, beyond playing well, getting a good result. Because it's so important, this particular friendly. It's so important when you get a good result. It builds the momentum, it builds a mindset, it builds a confidence, and then you play well. What's the point playing well at the end of the day? You keep having wrong results. It doesn't make sense. So for me, they ought to take this game quite seriously.
All right, two.
Approach the game with keenly contest, and make sure you get a good result against the Algerians.
All right, absolutely. Gets interesting. We're looking forward to the training sessions to be continued later today, and of course until the 27th of September when the boys will take on Algeria.
Run free.
Right, so let's talk about another interesting story from here, and it's about Alex. Not like Alex, it will be basically it's about Victor Osimhen. The story is that Napoli have been handed a major boost after reports emerging that the Super Eagles International will be available for the club's next Champions League game against Ajax on the 4th of October. The strikers sustained a hamstring problem in Napoli's 4-1 victory against Liverpool in Group A and the opening game of Group A at Champions League on the 7th of September before he was replaced just 4 minutes to the end of the first half. And the initial report suggested that he would be out for a total of 3 weeks. However, the story is that he's recuperating very well and might be available for them on the 4th of October when they take on Ajax. First, get the stories from the home scene. I don't know where this sound is coming from, but we'll try to see if we can work on it. So let's get me an engineer. Alex Iwobi has been included in the league play of the team of the week, rather. The Super Eagles midfielder who is playing at the top level at the moment was included in the best 11 of week 7. Alex Iwobi was the creator of at Everton after defeated West Ham by a goal to nil on Sunday at Goodison Park. The story is that he was included in the Premier League Match Day 7 Team of the Week. He was named man of the match in that game as well, and now has been included along to players like Erling Haaland and the rest of them, Song Heung-min. We're looking at the Premier League Team of the Week. He has Neto as a goalkeeper, Bournemouth goalkeeper Pedro Neto, and a back three of City's Ruben Dias, William Saliba, and Everton's James Tarkowski. De Bruyne, João Paulina, Xhaka, Iwobi make up the midfield, and Son Heung-min, Gabriel Jesus, and Jack Grealish fuel the attack in Premier League's Matchday 7 Team of the Week. So we hope that he takes this form and then makes it consistent and takes it to the next level. And also helps us defeat Algeria later next week. So let's continue the conversation. Well, Blyden, there's a story that Marina Granovsky, our former Chelsea director, had a chance to get Tchouaméni from Monaco, but she opted for Saint-Etienne. That's not the story. Well, the story is that N'Golo Kante and Jorginho's contract are set to expire at the end of next year, and a section of the Chelsea fans think that there shouldn't be an option for an extension because both players are gradually fizzling out of the Chelsea squad. So if you were close to Todd Boehly, N'Golo Kante, Jorginho, yeah, if you were close to the Todd Boehly, setup, extend Jorginho and Kante's contract or let them go.
Surely I'll extend that contract. I know a lot of people wonder, is it Jorginho? Surely I'll extend Jorginho's contract. This is it. Many people will like what I say. But when you look at Chelsea's setup, this is it. If you need a player that arranges the midfield for you and does it quite well, it's going to be Jorginho for me. Exceptional player, yes. He's not terrible when it has to do with marking. But when you look at his contribution beyond the marking, absolutely fantastic. N'Golo Kante, everybody knows the quality of N'Golo Kante. Sadly, he's been injured in recent times. But you need to give a player extension of contract. Look at it. They just brought Aubameyang to the club and gave him 3 years. How old is Aubameyang compared to N'Golo Kante? Aubameyang is older than Golo Kante. I'll do that extension as far as I'm concerned. These two players are quality players for Chelsea.
Well, Solorex, Golo Kante, Jorginho, still see at Chelsea. You still see them being key figures for Chelsea at least in the next 3 years in the Graham Potter era.
Mary, it's very possible, but if I was to be Graham Potter and the sporting director, talking about the new sporting director and the Chelsea on our top volley, I won't extend the contract. When you look at N'Golo Kante, he's a fantastic player. He's 31 years of age. I think football has currently evolved to that era that if you look at Man City, talking about the midfield, you'll see a certain Rodrigo and Kevin Phillips. Those are young lads. They let go Fernandinho.
Kevin is not playing.
Yeah, even if he's not playing, he's a good backup as well. Age is on his side. That's someone that can easily come in, and see the next 6 years at the club to give you perfect result as well. So, Kante, I think his age is beginning to affect him because
Why don't talk about
Casemiro?
No, why don't talk about this guy? What's his name? At Man City. De Bruyne. He's 32. Thereabout.
Well,
I don't say he's old.
No, Blyden, maybe I think where it's coming from is talking about the fact that maybe N'Golo Kante in the last 2 years have not guaranteed 25, 30 games for Chelsea. Injury has been catching up with him, and that clearly shows you that his body is definitely telling him that, well, you can't just play consistently for Chelsea as compared to De Bruyne, who at least can give you 20, 25 games a season.
Mary, this is the way I look at it. There's no point. Except you want to do an entirely systemic change. If Real Madrid weren't doing that, look, every players get injured. N'Golo can get injured. But you have to find a way to balance it. Bring in young players to the team, add it to the big ones that are already available, who are stabilizing the team, and move forward. That's how it's being done. So you look at the quality of the players, Kovacic, Jorginho, N'Golo Kante, quality players, but they're getting to that point where probably just give them an extension, not too long, and expect them to perform, and afterward you let them go if need be. But there ought to be a balance, adding players to them in the long run for them to perform. Instead of you saying, I'm not giving these folks contract, that means you have to go into the market and spend a lot of money there.
Blyden, looking at Man City and Chelsea as a whole, I think what Chelsea need right now is not the UEFA Champions League, it's not the Super Cup, it's not even the Europa League.
Why
I think
not?
what Chelsea need currently has to be the Premier League. They've won everything in the world. The next target has to be winning the Premier League. And
you can still win the Champions
for you
League.
to win the Premier League, you have to present yourself with the best squad. N'Golo Kante and Jorginho can't assure you 30 games in the season.
Right.
So if you want to compete with the likes of Man City and Liverpool, you need to get young lads to get you the job done.
090-2223-1011 and 0817-624-8565. Let's begin to get your thoughts in. N'Golo Kante, Jorginho, do you see them being a huge part of this Chelsea team going forward, even with the third volley era coming in? 090-2223-1011 to give you the chance to be a part of the show this afternoon. Well, the UEFA Nations League is upon us, and there's a lot in line as the UEFA Nations League continues later today. There's a lot to talk about from there as France and, of course, to talk about team facing a potential relegation to... Anyway, there's a story that Ronaldo has come out to say that he is ready to play at the Euro 2024, and he's going to be 39 by then, playing in the Euros 2024. He said that this World Cup is going to be his very last, for the Portuguese national team, but definitely going to play the Euros in 2024. The energy is there. Blyden?
Well, as I always say, there's nothing the mind cannot do. When you have a strong mind, you can achieve a lot. Football is not played only with physicality, but it gets to a point where your body can carry it.
Yeah.
We've seen Ibrahimovic doing that.
Yeah.
He's over 40.
Well. He's over 40 and doing what he knows how to do best. Yes, you're not going to put him in that spot where you have to run around, but he'll bring his presence. Have watched Ronaldo in recent times, though he's looking slower than before. But still a quality player. Can he do it at the Euros? Personally, I do not think so at the Euros. But I think he can still play football professionally, even at 39. But at the Euros, I expect him to retire from international duties by that time.
090-23-1011 and 0817-624-8565. The 2022-23 and UEFA Nations League group stages come to an end this particular month with England, Wales, and Northern Ireland of face relegation. Scotland aiming for promotion to the next round of the competition. We'll talk about the stories after this batch of calls. Hello, good afternoon, welcome. The returning Victor.
Yeah, good afternoon, Embarrassment. I played the way I'm right in the studio.
Bright James is out.
Good afternoon, my brother. Sorry, it's really a great time and always a great moment, Arizona. Arizona, let me say that my own PR tip today is going to be on the Nigerian and what is to come. Because let us not being said very clearly that the issue of the Super Eagles football is the first 11 and the players' inability for them to solve those level as a team. So we don't know the independent issue, but if anything will come, I believe the coach supposed to stay here in Nigeria and bring players for us to good team. And Arizona, for my team, Chelsea, the fans are really talking. It seems that this time I feel like in Kansas. Let me say that the new concerning administration, what is going to come, and the fans they are just looking at it. But let me say that since we don't have the sporting director,
thank you very much. 09022231011 and 0817-624-8565. Well, Solorex, before you take us to Facebook, a couple of yesterday particularly, the story was that Christoph Run, the current sporting director of Salzburg, was set to join Chelsea as their new sporting director. But early this morning, things changed, and the man made a U-turn, and he said that he wants to stay at Salzburg and doesn't want to join Chelsea anymore. And then there's been a conversation since then about the fact that maybe there was no alignment. There was no agreement in terms of what front wants at Chelsea and what Todd Boehly wants at Chelsea. And since then, it's been a crazy story. I'll begin with you, Blyden, first up. Todd Boehly and what he wants at Chelsea. And then maybe it's been clashing. And you look at the way Marina Granovska left the club and all of that, the fact that under Roman Abramovich, basically, he was never, an integral part of the Chelsea setup. He just appointed people to basically do the running of the business. But Todd Boehly wants to be actively part of what's happening at Chelsea, despite knowing little about football.
Todd Boehly looks like a manager that really wants to micromanage. He's trying to look at everything.
Well, maybe if it was a sector that you have maybe fair knowledge about, it's football, and this man has little. There's a story that he was proposing a 4-4-3 formation for Thomas Tuchel. That clearly shows you that this man knows little or nothing about football, and he wants to micromanage.
That's the problem. Whether you know much about sports or anything, when you go into that micromanagement, it becomes a problem because it makes people not to be able to take certain decisions, and it becomes difficult for other professionals who actually know what to do, but they're also worried about your presence, always trying to pinpoint things and trying to take that decision. But on the other hand, you look at Chelsea, the man we're talking about is already doing well at Salzburg. Quality scout as far as I'm concerned, as sporting director. And the deal there and what he's doing there is making a lot of money for them. Maybe he's had better offers. I do not know what the outcome would be. But you look at the problem in Chelsea. In Chelsea, in recent times, there have been plenty wahala in Chelsea. So one might think, why stress yourself all through going through all this? But it could have been a better opportunity moving to Chelsea from my standpoint.
Well, Solorex, I'm still talking about Todd Boehly. I still allude to Roman Abramovich's era. Abramovich was just the owner, and then he never had basically a hand in all of the day-to-day running. He actually appointed people. Bruce Ball came in, Peter Cech came in, Marina Granovskaya came in, a couple of other individuals, to run the club. Basically, why he just sits and make demands, basically dropping, making sure that the club has got funding. But he appointed people to be in charge of different aspects and sectors of this Chelsea club. But for Todd Boehly, it looks like he wants to be the manager, the sporting director, and even wants to play.
I love to see him play.
I think, the best way, football team can grow has to be getting the appointment right. If you look at Liverpool, what they have done in the last, 5 to 6 years, they've gotten the right, decision correctly, getting the main players and the right guys that are supposed to be in the job. Todd Boehly, for me, like you said, he knows little or nothing about, how to, hand over all these things. But with the way it's going, I think Chelsea might end up being, the team that is competing for the Europa League as well. Because if you don't get the perfect, manager, if you don't get the perfect, scouts, to come and do the best job, you would fall below other teams. And Chelsea as a team, the last couple of years have been qualifying for the Champions League, going to play in a major tournament as well. But as it stands, things are beginning to, show that Chelsea, has backslided as a team because they're no more getting the perfect results. And if you're second Thomas Tuchel, why are you bringing Graham Potter to the team? Because he's way below what, Graham Potter offered to the team.
Graham Potter is here. We're talking about moving forward for Chelsea. I mean, it's a little over 2 or 3 months after, he took over as of Chelsea. But there's still no appointment, in that boardroom to help him. I mean, and then front was the the front runner to become director, but he's made a U-turn, and a lot of people believe that he doesn't just want to be influenced by decisions of Todd Boehly. He doesn't want to be that's why the director that comes in, but still does the biddings of the owner just because the owner wants you to sign this particular player, you want to sign that player. It didn't happen like that. During Abramovich's era, there were days where Abramovich would want a particular player, but Marina would say no. I prefer this. I prefer that. I prefer this. But Todd Boehly wants things to go his way. And he doesn't know stuff about football. And that's just, what gets everybody very annoyed. Leiden.
Mari, I think we're overfloating this Todd Boehly thing. And the fact that he doesn't know much about football. I think, on the other hand, it's not just about knowing about football. He's a businessman. And a businessman will always make demands. Let me just excuse Todd Boehly for a while. We saw the last transfer window, what happened with Thomas Tuchel. He picked Thomas Tuchel to do the bulk of the choices for him.
Yeah, transfer job.
And we've seen the outcome of it. Not totally bad, not totally good. Even the best of scouts or best of directors also get it wrong sometimes. But basically, I think with time, he's going to stabilize. With time, we're going to see new sporting director of Chelsea at Chelsea. With time, we're going to see all these positions. He can't be all that alone if Chelsea must move forward. But my only fear for Chelsea is the mentality. We're beginning to talk about the process. Chelsea and the big Abramovich wasn't known for the process. It was about getting the result, hitting the ground running. And with Porter right now at the helms of affair, and all the talks about bringing these kind of sporting directors and who will take up bringing new players, younger players, and those ideas, the academy, I think we're going to a Chelsea we're not aware of, and it's scary for me.
Right, so Solorex, take us to Facebook. That sounds like in the Academy go where I don't know. By the way, you can connect with us on Facebook and Planet Radio 101.1 FM, the official Facebook page. Go there, drop a comment on our live feed, and we'll take them in the course of the show. And you can also head to the sports page, the Planet FM sports page. There's a post published. Go there, drop a comment, and we'll take them in the course of the show. Alternatively, head to the phone lines are open basically 090-2223-1011 and 0817-624-8565. Manu Neuer and Leon Goretzka have tested positive for COVID-19 5 days before their Nations League clash against England, and they are set to miss that particular game on Friday. Solorex Facebook.
Yeah, Gabriel Ekpo says, good afternoon, Marizona and Co. My take on J5 and Kante has to be contract extension. If I'm close to Todd Boehly, I advise him to extend both of them because they are very good lads, especially Kante, all blues forever. Then Amy Boy says, good afternoon, guys. I just want to congratulate Ronaldo for his top scorer award for his national team. Then Emmanuel Alive James said, good afternoon, everyone. Please update me with the latest signing on Chelsea and the goalkeeper available for the Super Eagles camp. Thank you. Emmanuel Alive from Uyo, all blues for life. Good. God bless planet. Then Timothy Daniel says, good afternoon, guys. Please update me with Joe Aribo. Why is he not called to the national team duty? Jehovah bless all of you. Then Paiso can say more updates on Super Eagles camp with Algeria, wishing all my team players and all players injury free in this international duty. Omar Upon say, good afternoon, Bright and Go, Solorex and Marizona. I'm not happy with you guys. Why you people no answer my question? I just asked before. We haven't seen any.
What's the question?
Yeah.
The only question I'm seeing here is about Joe Aribo. Well, Joe Aribo is not called up to the national team, and here is why. He actually, told the NFF and Coach Pesero that he intends to stay with Southampton, and he wants to use his international break to get to acclimatize to life at Southampton, and then get to understand even better the philosophy of Ralph, the coach of Southampton. Remember that he's not had enough game time since joining, from Rangers, basically. And so he wants to use his time to gel and understand the team. So that's basically why he's not been called up to the national team. He said that he wants to take time and enjoy and understand Southampton. Hello, good afternoon.
That's my Ghana sports team.
Welcome to Up Ghana.
Maybe I've heard you people talking about Ndolo Kante and Jorginho. But if I happen to have my own football club, I'd like to make you guys to be in my team. There are two prominent figures in Chelsea team. There are two members. That is the head boss specialist. One Kante can show pressure, good in counter attack, just a replay of Kevin De Bruyne. The two players give Chelsea energy. If Chelsea lost this season and Jonas, it is best start for them. Thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you very much, Top Ghana. 09022231011 and 0817-624-8565. You can also head to the Planet 101 FM sports page. You go there, drop a comment, and there's a post published there, and we take them in the course of the show. Let's talk about the UEFA Nations League. It comes to an end later this particular month with England, Wales, and Northern Ireland facing relegation, and Scotland aiming for promotion to the next round. The next group. Most teams play their first group games in June, with 2 matches remaining. The Nations League is a biennial competition in its 3rd edition. It was first won by Portugal in 2019, and France are the defending champions after defeating Spain in the 2021 final. Now, how does the UEFA Nations League work? There are 3 leagues of 16 teams, each with 4 groups, and each with 4 groups and 4 teams, and a 4th tier with 7 teams split into a group of 4 and 1 of 3. The winners of each group in League A qualify for next year's finals tournament, while the winners of each group in Leagues B, C, and D secure promotion to the next league up. Teams who finish bottom in the groups A and B will be relegated, and those in League C will enter a playoff to decide who drops to League D. It also decides who goes into the playoffs for the Euro 2024. The winners of each group in League A, B, and C qualify for the playoffs. If they qualify for the Euro 2024 through the traditional qualifiers, the playoff spots goes to the next best team in their league, and the tier below, if everybody in that league has qualified. Now, let's take a look at the groupings. England are seated in Group A3 with Hungary, Germany, Italy, and England are basically rock bottom in that particular group with just 2 points in 4 games. Hungary sits up with 7 points, Germany second with 6 points, Italy comes third with 5 points. Games will resume later on Friday. Germany take on Hungary and England take on Italy. And again on Monday with England against Germany and Hungary taking on Italy in that particular one. Well, if England lose to Italy, they'll be relegated to League B of the Nations League for the first time. They'll need to beat Italy and Germany to be sure of safety. Hungary will reach the finals and book a place in the playoffs for the Euro 2024 if they beat Germany, and Italy did not beat Belgium. Right there, and taking a look at the other groupings, and so far to be expected in Group B1, where we have Scotland seated in Group B1 with Ukraine, Republic of Ireland, and Armenia. Ukraine have got 7 points from 3 games. Scotland second with 6 points. Ireland come third with 4 points. Armenia come fourth with 3 points. Scotland take on Ukraine later today. We'll talk about the games to be expected from the UEFA Nations League in the course of the show. What are some things that are up for grabs for some teams in the Nations League? In Group A1, Denmark will be in the finals if they beat Croatia later tomorrow. France would be relegated if they lose to Austria. At the same time, Spain could book their place in the finals from A2 if they beat Switzerland, and Portugal lose to the Czech Republic on Saturday. In League B, Israel and Bosnia and Herzegovina are 1 win away from promotion, while Norway and Serbia could meet in the final game to decide who wins in Group B. For Turkey, Kazakhstan, Georgia We're talking about the games to be expected in the UEFA Nations League later today, and it's interesting. But before then, Solorex, France and England are facing relegation, and both teams have got quality scattered across the squad. Unfortunately for the French national team, they would be without some very, very key players in this side. To take a look at injury concerns for France as they head off to the UEFA Nations League right there. But let's talk about the games to be expected later today as we continue to take your calls. By the way, Northern Ireland take on Kosovo later on Saturday. But for the games to be expected Later today, Scotland take on Ukraine. Tomorrow, Kazakhstan against Belarus. Latvia takes on Moldova. Slovakia take on Azerbaijan. Poland takes on Netherlands. Lithuania takes on Faroe Islands. Liechtenstein takes on Andorra. Turkey against Luxembourg. Croatia against Denmark. France against Austria. Belgium, Wales, Estonia, Malta. Continue on Friday. We'll talk about the Friday games after this batch of calls. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, ma. How you doing?
I'm fine. Welcome. Name and location. All right. You just called to ask me how I was doing. It's possible for you to just move a little bit because it looks like the network is very bad in that area. #20 has been revealed, and he asked for some very, very crazy stuff that included 8.7 million sign-on bonus, a private jet to fly into Argentina every Christmas. He also demanded an executive box for his family and his close friend Luis Suarez. Remember that his 4-year contract ended from 2017 to 2021, and he had to opt for renewal. And he had some crazy demands in his new contract. That contract included an 8.7 million signing on bonus, £87,000 release clause, 3-year deal with an option to extend the luxury executive box at the new camp for his family and Luis Suarez's family. 10% salary increase in 2021-2022 and 2023 season with 3% annual interest, a private jet to fly his family to and from Argentina every Christmas. Well, money must be made. Hello, good afternoon.
Portugal are still in this UEFA league everything.
Yeah, they are. Solorex will check that out. I think they have a game tomorrow.
Okay, all right, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Well, Blyden, a private jet, and some other interesting stuff. Only Lionel Messi can make these demands.
Well, but it makes it sound as if private jet is something. Most of the top players have private jets.
Yeah, given to them by the club.
Yeah, some of them own it.
Yeah.
Some of the top players own it. Even the likes of Paul Pogba. They own private jets. Lionel Messi has his own private jets. So I don't know what the demand is all about. But it's part of it. It's not a huge demand as far as I'm concerned. When you look at the quality of the player and the status of a player. Sadly, I cannot talk about a private jet now. Solorex won't have one now. But one way or the other, it's what it is. It's part of football. And it's part of being an iconic figure in football.
We're back on the phone lines. Hello, good afternoon. Well, we have you. Please talk to us. Solorex is going to check out the sports page for comments coming in, but we're still taking calls in 090-2223-1011. Hello, welcome, good afternoon. Please don't flash me. As we build up to the January transfer window, Belgium midfielder Yuri Tillemans says he does not regret staying at Leicester City despite being heavily linked to Arsenal. But that move had to be called off at the very last minute. But unfortunately, this man says he's not feeling bad for not going to Arsenal. Hello, good afternoon.
Marisona, how you playing?
I'm fine. Name and location. Welcome.
This is what I'm calling from you.
Welcome,
Mr. Marisona, I want to ask whether the activities of the Premier League has been going in this weekend.
No. 2 weeks. 2 weeks off. The Premier League is taking a 2-week break.
Oh, that is not. That is so sad.
Enjoy international football. Nigeria is playing later next week. Enjoy that one.
Oh, Allah, thank you for your friend.
Thank you very, very much. Chelsea winger talk about Christian Pulisic said that he was dumbfounded by Tuchel's decision not to start him in the Champions League semi-final second leg against Real Madrid. Everton midfielder Alan has opened talks with United Arab Emirates club Al Wada in the next 2 weeks. Former Everton boss Rafael Benitez says he could not manage the Goodison Park club like he wanted to because of his ties with Liverpool, where he won the Champions League as a manager. Chelsea owner Todd Boehly is angry and perplexed that the previous regime did not get Tchouaméni before the midfielder joined Real Madrid. AC Milan and Portuguese forward Rafael wants to sign a new contract with the Serie A side despite interest from Chelsea. Barca's list of replacements for Sergio Busquets include Ruben Neves, who plays for Wolverhampton Wanderers, Spain midfielder Martin Zubimendi, who plays for Real Sociedad. because of visa issues, according to the stories that we are getting. And we'll get a clear picture when we come back later tomorrow. The story is that they have been left stranded at the airport due to visa problems. Chelsea are now targeting Leipzig's chief executive Oliver Mintzlaff to take up the role of sporting director. Chelsea, they could also turn to Bayern Leverkusen sporting director Tim Staten as their next target after Salzburg's front rejected the chance to join them. Well, former Manchester City and Ivory Coast wing midfielder talk about Yaya Toure is helping England on the 21 team to prepare for games against Italy and Germany as he continues to complete his coaching badges. Well, gradually Blyden will Africans take the